All right. This is a question I received through eBay. Um, the person was originally they had started up a discussion about uh, asking why people talk on eBay discussion forums with their secondary accounts, and to kind of be to give a simple answer. They don't have secondary accounts. That's actually their primary account. They just like to get on the discussion groups or discussion forums and say they have large accounts that they don't want at risk because of jealous people or something, or I don't know. So of course some people do that. I'm not one of them. That's why I just get on the eBay discussion forums with my just regular user IDs. Of course I have several, and I clearly stated that at one time, and the person sent me a message asking, why do I have more than one eBay account? And uh, if you've ever heard the term "don't put all of your eggs in one basket," that's especially true on eBay. There's several reasons actually, and that's just not the only one. But um, we kind of tell a story here. When I was selling stuff on eBay before, and I was just going into the startup phases of actually making this into a real business, uh, I had become limited by eBay. I had an increased amount of sales. I don't remember what my sales were, but it was several thousand each month, and so I guess that triggered something on eBay. They sent me an email, I believe, and that said, let me think, my account was accessed by a third party or something like that, and it wasn't, and if it was, then there was no harm in it, so, you know, why should I be affected? So, and eBay's response to that was to limit my PayPal account and uh, not cancel, but just kind of like suspend, shut down all my listings. And I had hundreds and hundreds of listings at the time, and I spent hours into the descriptions and pictures and everything. So that kind of pissed me off. And uh, well, to go further, I was actually using PayPal a lot. I wasn't very knowledgeable about what PayPal uh, truly was and how it operated. And I was using PayPal for pretty much everything because at the time you could use the PayPal debit card, and I'm not sure if they still have that because I don't use it because I have several PayPal accounts now. Um, and I was using that to purchase things even in China because I had a friend that was also in PayPal, or who had a PayPal account that was living in China, and who I kind of made responsible for the startup of like purchasing office furniture, paying the rent and stuff like that. And I would send him the money by PayPal, and he would pull the money out of his PayPal account through a local a bank by going to the bank and pulling out through his card, I guess, like kind of like swiping it like an ATM. And he'd get the money he needed, pay off the employees' wages, and we were also planning our first large shipment based on the eBay selling data that we acquired over about a year's worth of selling activity to determine what would sell very well, be the most profitable over a 3 month time frame. So we would say something would sell for, I'd sell 20 items each week, so I would know to sell, 80 items a month, 3 months worth of items, and I know how much, I know how much to purchase and how much to send to the U.S. and sell and stuff like that. Because at the time, especially, nobody was buying stuff from Chinese sellers, and actually there weren't very many Chinese sellers on eBay at that time. So, sorry, I pulled my arm. I don't work out or anything, if you can't tell, but I think it was like lifting up a bag of dog food or something, and I pulled a muscle in my arm. So, uh, anyways, to get back to the story, I had several thousand, about 17,000, and that was kind of like, the money I was stressing out over, and I was too stupid to realize, that I should have just transferred it to the bank and then wired it over to my friend. But I thought, PayPal is just like some innocent little company or something, and so I that money got limited. It got frozen. I called them up like 3 or 4 times a day, and just freaking out. I wasn't like trying to piss them off, or I wasn't even acting pissed off. I was just calmly saying, I need this money for my business. I'm in college, and I'm expecting some of this money that I'm getting back to go towards my tuition, and all the other things that I have to pay for, like my apartment, and also my employees. My first purchase of a huge amount of inventory that I hope to have shipped over through a container or sea freight, and their response was just like, no, you're not going to get this money. Don't plan on seeing this money for 180 days. It's not happening. It's frozen. We're keeping it. So, and that kind of stressed me out because the person who was telling me this sounded like they were probably straight out of high school. They didn't understand what $17,000 actually was to somebody in a startup business. So, I freaked out. So I created an eBay account and got shut down again. Because they were linked. I used all my actual information, and I didn't really realize at the time that I could just be using my business information, because now that I actually had a limited liability company, that I had my own separate legal entity, so I created an account under that, and it stayed up, and I just began selling again and tried to do as well as I could through the items that I still had locally, and eventually I actually used that money to fund a lawyer or an attorney to send a bunch of legal messages to eBay saying, if you don't release the money, my client's going to further attempt to sue you or something. I don't know. I don't really remember how it went, but about 6 weeks later, after I had that money frozen, and I got it released. But the eBay account was forever gone, and that pissed me off because I had about probably 8 or 9,000 positive feedback, and of course that was way before DSRs and all that stuff. So I was thinking, I have this huge reputation on eBay now, so who's going to buy from somebody with just 2 or 3 positive feedback? But actually, it didn't matter. So now I realize that it's not all about just having one huge eBay account. You want several smaller accounts, and always what happens to me is that I get to about 10,000 positive feedback. So I just I kind of have a little party with myself, and I shut down the account because I realized it's not good to be a big seller on eBay. They have a lot of privileges and stuff like that. To larger sellers, you get fees knocked off, and you save money, but really it's not worth being a large seller because it can all end anyways. So it's always best to just kind of split it up. Plus there's a good analytical advantage in that I sell clothing items under one account, I sell toys under one account, I sell school supplies under another account, and through that I can just keep track of what's actually selling very well and what's not, and what I know what not to buy next time and what I should. So, and that would be a lot more complicated having everything under one huge account. So that's why. It's because I got suspended by eBay one time, and it's also for analytical purposes. So if anybody else has any questions, feel free to ask. Goodbye.